Hello guys, what is up? My name is Dylan. Welcome to the Popcorn Podcast. This is episode number 68. Today, guys, we have a very, very, very special guest on the couch. He is one of the UK's most popular film nerds. Everything from comic books to collectibles, from X-Wings to X-Men. Recently wingmanned by Aquaman himself, Jason Momoa. One half of the Scene Stealers podcast and fellow lover of La La Land, of course.
Oh, indeed.
It's Mr. Henry Calvert.
Hello.
Welcome, sir. Hello.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
No, of course, man. It's been a little in the works. I want to say, I feel like, dude, it's such a pleasure to be finally having you on this.
Oh no, thank you. This is great. I mean, I've seen your stuff for ages, and you've had like Amy and Eli and Joe and everybody on, and it just had to be done.
It was coming. It was coming.
Yeah.
Right. You've recently moved to London.
Yes.
How is that going for you?
It's absolutely knackering.
Yeah.
It's there's a lot more going on here than there is in rural North Yorkshire, and it's very overwhelming. But no, I'm getting more involved with like work stuff.
Yeah.
And
keeping you on toes then.
Yeah, exactly. We did Celebration, which is that wasn't in London, but like
I do want to ask you about that.
We did Celebration. That was cool. Went there with saw Eli out there.
Yes.
Doing all the screenings and all that stuff. All the fun,
of course,
type things. It's just a lot of fun, really.
Yes.
A lot of fun.
Of course. And if you haven't seen Mr. Calvert before on social media in some form, firstly, you must be living under a rock, but secondly, some of your more popular content, or at least I've seen recently, has been in the form of you doing press junkets and interviews with huge stars. For example, I think you recently interviewed Jason Momoa for Minecraft, and then I think there was like Michelle Yeoh and Jeff Goldblum, Jonathan Bailey. Who's been your favorite person to interview?
Oh, it's got to be Jeff and John.
Yeah.
I mean that video, like I'd done junkets before then.
Yeah.
But like I think that was that video with Jeff and Jonathan was the one that kind of gave me my own style.
Yeah.
Put me on the junket scene properly. And they were just brilliant. I kind of felt like I was in the presence of me in like 40 years. Like Jeff Goldblum's like a big lanky guy.
Do you see yourself in them?
I see him. My favourite comments are the ones that it was like, this is 3 generations of the same person. I think it's got to be that one. But being wingman by Jason Momoa was sick.
Dude.
I mean, that was cool.
Did it work?
For a bit. for like 3 days.
Okay.
I got a second one after that, but it worked for a bit. But no, Jason was really cool. He made me sit on his lap for that video. he was like, come here, man. And I like crouched. I crouched near him. And he was like, nah. And then like slapped his thigh and like got me to sit on his lap. That is a niche experience.
Intense. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like, if anyone asks you, what's the most crazy thing that's happened to you? I mean, dude, sat on
Khal Drogo's like, what the hell? Yeah, it's sick.
That's insane. That's insane. Before we get into what we like to do at the start of each episode, which is Quickfire Questions, I want to ask you, so you began posting content online when exactly?
So I started posting content online in 2021.
Okay.
So just out of the third lockdown or second one, whatever,
something like that.
But no, I'd just been through like a bit of a rough breakup. I didn't really have much going for me at the time. Like I was kind of finding my feet, and in that year, like I started teaching, I started applying to drama schools, and kind of in that process of refinding myself, I started posting like comic book recommendations. That was like my main content for a good year or so. And then throughout 2021 did that, and then it was only in 2022 where I had my first big hit, which was my getting ready for a night out and dancing to Phil Collins.
I have seen that.
Yeah. People still come up to me and go, "You're the Phil Collins guy." Like,
dude, the amount of thirst comments on that video, that was amazing.
I met so many people off the back of that video. Like, I'm not gonna lie, that makes me sound like a bit like a tart. I'm not. But no, the Phil Collins video. No, that really sent it. And then I did a series of like sketches about when like girls come over to my room. And, it just kind of spiraled from there.
Yeah.
But it was all started with like the comic book recommendation stuff.
Yeah, and crushing it ever since, and still going strong. And here we have you.
Thank you.
So as I mentioned, Henry, so sort of at the start of every kind of episode with a new guest.
Yeah.
Just to kind of suss you out a little bit in terms of kind of films you like, from some films you don't like as well.
Yeah.
Play a round of quickfire questions, what we like to call film favorites here.
I like it.
You ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready. Hit me.
What is your favorite film?
My favorite film is, at the minute, Pitch Perfect 1.
Oh my goodness. This is like the third person recently who is like...
I'm like the biggest Pitch Perfect fan. Like, I am obsessed with that movie. It's probably the only film that I could recite like pretty much 90% of.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a great film. What's a film that makes you laugh?
Film that makes me laugh is Mr. Bean's Holiday.
Dude, it was on last night. I kid you not.
It's Rowan Atkinson. It's fun. I love Mr. Bean's Holiday. It's brilliant. I prefer it over that other Mr. Bean.
Oh, just Bean. When he goes to
Hollywood.
Yeah.
Mr. Bean's Holiday is like top tier.
Oh, no, it's brilliant. Yeah. I will say very quickly, though, Mr. Bean's Holiday also has the best film within a film ever.
Oh yeah,
Willem Dafoe's like Carson Clay's like
that's brilliant.
So good.
Yeah, it's great.
It's so good. What's a film that makes you cry?
Dead Poet Society.
Of course.
Yeah, Dead Poet. The end of Dead Poets. Oh, God, yeah. Captain, my captain.
What's a film you think is underrated?
Film I think is underrated is probably Pitch Perfect 2.
Okay.
It's probably like my biggest guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
And I'm under no illusion that it's like probably a bit crap, but I love it nonetheless.
Fair enough.
That's also a film that does make me cry.
Oh.
Yeah. The end with Flashlight. It's just when the Bellas come back, it just gets pretty emotional.
Yeah, we could do a whole episode on Pitch Perfect. I'm sure.
Yeah.
What's a film you think is overrated?
I think Good Will Hunting is overrated.
Okay.
I watched it I probably wasn't in the right mindset for it, but I watched it last week and it was just like, I thought it was perfectly nice.
Okay.
But like, I don't think it's like a 5-star film.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's your favorite or one of your favorite performances in a film?
One of my favorite performances in a film, I'm gonna go with Harrison Ford in Raiders of the Lost Ark. Actually, no, I take that back. I'm going to go with Sean Connery in The Last Crusade.
Oh,
I think
brilliant.
That is like just perfect. When you look at like these big adventure action films, you always like kind of forget about the performances. Like, there's an interview where Daisy Ridley is asked like, what do you wish people spoke about more when it comes to Star Wars? And she was like, the performances, because they kind of get glossed over. And I think Sean Connery in Indy has like so much heart in that, and he matched it perfectly with the comedy and everything. He's just brilliant.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. He very much made that role his own.
Yeah,
Scottish charm, it's brilliant.
It's perfect.
Yeah,
everything I could want.
Yeah. What is your favorite cinema?
My favorite cinema is the Harrogate Everyman. I had my first ever date in that cinema.
Very nice.
The first time a girl kissed me was in that cinema.
Wow.
I've made plenty of friends there that work there, and I absolutely love it.
Amazing. I mean, every man has a place in all our hearts.
Oh yes.
What is a bad film that you love?
A bad film that I love is a film called Axum. It's the lowest rated horror movie on IMDb, I think.
Okay.
And it is like the worst film, like ever. They don't even have mics. Like it's terrible.
Wow.
But have you ever heard of Cosmonaut Variety Hour?
Yes.
Yeah, he did a video about it, and I subsequently watched it, and I had the best time.
Oh wow!
It's one of those like.
Does it have like a cult following?
I don't know about a cult following, but
comprised of two people.
Yeah, it's just hilariously bad. And I just love it for that.
Oh, amazing! Well, I might have to check it out at some point. Then.
Do.
Yeah. What's your biggest film ick or red flag?
My biggest film ick is the I haven't watched that because there's too many installments. I haven't watched Harry Potter because there's 9 films, or I haven't watched Star Wars because there's too many of them. I'm like, these are pillars of pop culture. Like, I kind of understand not watching like all of the James Bond movies, but when it comes to like, I haven't watched Harry Potter because I just don't have the time. It's Harry Potter. You have to put yourself through that at one point.
Oh, 100%. I think what most people, like most similar people, don't understand is literally when you watch one,
Oh yeah.
You're gone.
It's
you're
like
on
a long-running book
Oh,
series,
yeah.
and it's exciting to get that invested in something for so long.
What's your biggest film green flag?
Biggest film green flag is when they're not concerned about runtime.
That's a good one.
Oh, I don't want to watch it because it's 3 hours long. It's a classic Lord of the Rings thing.
Yeah,
Like, oh, I don't want to watch it because it's 3 hours long and it will lose our evening. Yeah, we will. And that's a good thing.
Exactly.
Like, let's lose it.
Can't think of anything better, honestly. What's your favorite film score?
My favorite film score, I mean, it changes like all the time. Giacchino, I think, is king at the minute. So I'm going to go with The Incredibles. But, you know, like, anything animated, really. Ratatouille comes close, and so does How to Train Your Dragon. But I think Incredibles at the minute is my number one.
Nice. Horror or comedy?
Comedy.
Sci-fi or fantasy?
Sci-fi.
Blockbuster or indie?
Indie.
Oh, wow. I wasn't expecting that.
I've just kind of fallen out of love with like the whole blockbuster scene recently. So let's at the minute, let's go with an indie film.
Okay, interesting. What's a film you wish you watched in the cinema?
A film I wish I watched in the cinema was Dune 1. Because I ended up watching it on my iPad in bed, and it just like it just didn't have the right effect.
Yeah, but you did see Dune 2.
I saw that in like IMAX 2 or 3 times or something like that, yeah.
Nice. Who's a director whose work you want to watch more of?
I really want to watch more of Peter Weir's work, who did Truman Show, Dead Poets Society.
Of course, yeah.
Like, I've only seen those two, and both of those two are like two of my favorite films.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen any of his others.
Yeah.
So I'd be keen to watch the rest of his filmography.
If you were stuck on a desert island, what 4 films would you take with you?
I'd take Pitch Perfect 1. I'd take
We knew it was coming.
La La Land, Return of the King, and maybe Past Lives.
Oh, okay.
Because Past Lives gives me hope, like, even though it's in a romantic sense, it's like the hope that it keeps going and things are okay. And I think on a desert island, even though you know you're gonna die, you need a bit of hope.
Yeah.
So I might take Past Lives.
Good stuff. Finally, Henry, what is your most anticipated film for the rest of 2025?
Oh, I was having this debate with MCJ last night.
Oh, really?
And I think we both decided that it was Superman.
Yeah.
I think it's between that and I keep wanting to call it Fantastic Four. But I think Superman just takes it out for me. Yeah.
Good stuff. Well, there you go, guys. That was some film favorites with Henry.
Indeed.
That was interesting. That's for sure. Of course, the main topic of discussion for this episode. Is none other than Thunderbolts Asterix, as they like to say.
Yes, indeed. I liked all the marketing around the Asterix.
The marketing was brilliant.
Yeah.
I didn't see a single bad poster.
No. I thought they were all like really, really strong.
Speaking of marketing, before seeing Thunderbolts, were you particularly excited for this iteration into the MCU? How has your kind of relationship with the MCU, I want to say, been recently?
I think I've been, like everybody else, probably pretty disillusioned with the MCU of late. So going into Thunderbolts, I could tell that there was some level of like creative. They were doing something different creatively. So I was excited for that. However, looking at the lineup, I was like, I could not care less about any of these characters. Personally, the one that I was most like excited to see was John Walker. Because I thought he was like the only decent part of Falcon the Winter, in my opinion. Like, I really did not like that show.
It's a great character.
I thought like it was just a really interesting character. Like, I couldn't really care less about Yelena. It's been last time I watched Black Widow was when it came out, and I don't think I even finished Hawkeye. So like going into it, it was like, this looks somewhat interesting, but I'm not like, oh my god, overly excited. No,
and I would agree with that. I think for the most part, I think on my side of things, I feel like similarly to you and a lot of others, like you mentioned, like MCU's just not been doing it in the last sort of recent years, I want to say. And Thunderbolts, for me, like I always kept Thunderbolts at a distance because I never, like, seriously, I don't think I even watched a full trailer for the film. Like I've got this whole like no trailer rule kind of thing, or try to stay away from it. And I was hearing some good buzz positive buzz about the film. So I was like, maybe. I'm not gonna get my hopes up, but maybe. But I like Florence Pugh a lot. I think she's great.
Yeah.
But like you, don't have that much of an investment or attachment to any of these characters.
Yeah.
But then again, I was somewhat looking forward to it because I thought it could potentially be something with this level of expectations. You know what I mean? Like, your expectations, it could actually turn out to be great.
Yeah.
But I will say, I was excited to see what they were going to do with Sentry. He was sort of teased in the marketing here and there, and he's
really cool in the comics.
He is indeed. He's somewhat Marvel's kind of Superman in a lot of ways. And of course, how that sort of plays into his alter ego, the Void. Really interesting stuff. But yeah, similarly to you, kind of had constrained expectations.
Yeah.
When did you see this film? So you saw it this week.
I saw it on Tuesday. In the IMAX, Leicester Square at a multimedia screening thing, which is always a fun experience.
Yes.
So like those kind of environments where it's fans, for the most part, like everybody's hyped at a premiere or a screening or whatever. It does add a level of kind of excitement and atmosphere. So I always try and like put that aside when I'm like forming an opinion on the actual film. Because like I'm trying to think what I'd seen where I was like, I watched it. For example, like when I saw Spider-Verse, it was at like the premiere, and it was like the most phenomenal experience ever because everybody was like on this level. And then I was like, oh my god, am I gonna watch it and it's gonna be crap? I watched it again, and it was like the best thing ever. Yeah. But I'm trying to remember, like Multiverse of Madness. When I watched Multiverse of Madness at the premiere, I was like, this is the best thing ever. Yeah. Then I watched it again, I was like, what the hell was I thinking?
Yeah.
But this time, I put all that aside. Just formed an opinion on the film.
Okay, which we will get into. But I know 100%, I know exactly what you mean. Like the first time you watch the film, if it's this amazing experience, if there's all these other factors that influence sort of your initial watch, then
I mean, you can get sucked up into the Marvel kind of the cameo, popcorn, like
exactly. I'm sure we've been at many screenings.
Oh yeah,
this is the case.
This is the case. Like we've been at the Flight Risk premiere or something.
Yes.
Whoa.
Will people actually do that at the Flight Risk premiere?
Yeah, I bet that. Not for Flight Risk.
Surely
not. For
Flight Risk. Okay, guys, so we're going to head straight into this discussion, but just a disclaimer, we are going to be talking spoilers. So if you haven't seen Thunderbolts, please do go check it out and then come back to this discussion at a later time and let us know what you think as well. Yeah, let's just get straight into that. So I'm going to do a quick plot synopsis to kind of kick things off.
Yeah, remind me.
Thunderbolts. They're not exactly Earth's mightiest heroes. In fact, they barely get along. When Valentina Allegra de Fontaine lures 7 washed-up, world-weary misfits into her latest scheme, they're forced into a mission that's so dangerous it actually might require teamwork. And maybe therapy along the way. They've got baggage, bad attitudes, and absolutely no idea what they're doing. But somehow, they might just be the last hope to stop total disaster. No capes, no glory, just chaos. Film's directed by Jake Schreier and stars Florence Pugh, Sebastian Stan, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Lewis Pullman, David Harbour, Wyatt Russell, and Hannah John Kamen, amongst others. Okay.
How good's that, by the way? That's brilliant. You haven't whipped that online. Did you?
I do put a lot into those plot synopses to get things going.
That's quite good, mate. Yeah, well.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. So, Henry, initial thoughts walking out of the cinema after seeing Thunderbolts for the first time?
I turned to my friend. I said, that was decent.
Okay.
That was decent. However, about halfway through the film, I turned to him and was like, I'm pretty bored.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It was, Josiah Coop.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. A mutual friend of ours. I turned to him about halfway through. I was like, I'm struggling here.
Okay.
And then it got to maybe the last 20 minutes and I turned to him and I said, I take back everything.
Okay. So it was really the kind of last portion that kind of flipped you then.
Well, yeah, in a way, but then thinking about it, I'm like, this was a slog for the first half. I think the first half really killed the pacing for me.
I agree. I don't think there was quite enough momentum in that first half for sure.
And then, you know, there wasn't enough. I will admit, I fell asleep for about 15 minutes as well.
How long?
About 15 minutes. Okay. 10, 15 minutes. In the, you know, when they're in that mountain.
Yes.
They were in that mountain for ages.
They were.
And I'm not being funny, but I fell asleep for 10 minutes. There is no 10, 15 minutes. They did not become that They did not become family in those 10 minutes. Like,
what was the last thing you kind of remember of them being in? You saw the fight.
I saw like the John Walker Void moment.
Yeah.
And like climbing up the elevator.
Yeah.
And then them leaving the mountain.
Okay.
There's like a bit of blank space there where I imagine Ghost had a Void moment or something.
Yeah. So did you see them when they got out of that chute when they were climbing up?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Got out the chute, and then next thing I know, Bob's left the mountain and is with Julia. Valentina. Yeah. And Red Guardians picking them up when they go.
Okay. So I don't think you missed too.
I don't think I missed that much at all. I didn't feel like I missed that much, like at all.
Yeah.
But then I found that first half just such a slog.
Okay.
And then the second half was like what the actual film is. And in a way, it kind of felt a bit rushed. Like all of their character family, found family trope.
Yeah.
Kind of felt a bit rushed for me. That being said, I did enjoy it. I did enjoy the film on the whole.
Yeah.
But it's not really an ensemble movie. It's a Yelena movie. They could have called it Yelena Belova, I think.
That is one thing I think people should kind of be worry about when going into this. This is definitely more of a Florence Pugh, Yelena Belova film as opposed to a Thunderbolts film. I would say that's interesting. I mean, from seeing a lot of people's reactions online, a lot of people seem to be loving this film. I don't know.
It's average. It's like 3.9.
Yeah,
on Letterboxd.
Yeah,
and I think most people we know have given it like 4.
Yes.
Which I think is a big overreaction. And I will say as well, I do not by any like metric think that this means that the MCU is back.
Right. This is what I wanted to talk to you about, because this seems to be the ongoing kind of quote that everybody is sort of saying, the MCU's back, the MCU's back. You don't think so?
I hate that quote.
Yeah.
So much.
It is a cheap quote to say.
Like, what do you even mean by that? Like, to be personally, for me, the MCU ended with Endgame, and then we had Guardians and No Way Home as like an epilogue or like a swan song. And if that was it, I'd be so happy, because I think everything else that we've gotten, WandaVision was all right, but like the MCU being back, it doesn't feel like the older MCU. Being back means that it's like how it was in like 2013, 2014. This doesn't feel like that at all.
Yeah.
And if we're back to making good movies, that's also a load of, like, the past few installments have been bad, but like everybody loved Guardians.
Yeah.
Like the quality has always been all over the place.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think, what I would add to that is about this whole MCU's back thing is I don't think we can, I think we are getting ahead of ourselves here when we say this, because the MCU's back means that there needs to be somewhat of a consistent run of good quality projects. And I think if you ask me,
we're all like leading to something.
Yes. If you ask me what I think about Thunderbolts, I would say it's definitely a step in the right direction, I would say. I mean, another cheap thing to say is I do think it is the best MCU film since Guardians 3, but that's not really saying much, because the
Marvels,
the Marvels or
Thor, Marvel's Ant-Man or
Captain America, Brave New World,
but like consistently like 3 out of 10.
No, exactly, exactly. It hasn't been a great recently, but I will say I did enjoy Thunderbolts quite a bit. We'll get into the whole sort of the sort of thematic sort of parts of the film and what the film is doing with that and all that. But I was surprised to see Marvel maturely sort of take on this kind of theme of mental health, particularly with this whole the whole Sentry character, and I thought it was like a nice change up, even if I don't think the sort of narrative there or the way it does it is anything groundbreaking. I think
it feels very babies first.
Yes,
and that's fine, because the MCU is like a family thing, and for a lot of kids are going to go and see this, and it might be their first experience.
Yes,
kind of seeing that portrayed on screen.
Yes,
and like, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'm not expecting like some deep dive on mental health from Marvel.
Right.
But I think people are probably slightly, like I say, overhyping the fact that it's just like there.
Yes. I do think it's also a little bit on the nose. Like it's very, upfront about it. And I mean, if you look at Thunderbolts and what the Thunderbolts are, it's kind of like the MCU's version of the Suicide Squad, kind of a little bit in a way. It's kind of like the naughty child of the MCU that gets sent to like the naughty corner every now and then. And but yes, the whole sort of tackling of mental health, I think, has been done before in films like the Suicide Squad, when you have a team of like misfits or even Guardians to a certain extent, and they find, it's about the friends you make along the way.
Exactly.
I think this film is very upfront about that, and I do think it, for the most part, because it is quite a difficult subject to deal with, because mental health means a lot to a lot of different people. I do think for the most part it does manage to land that in a way that feels kind of applicable to a lot of people. And I do think that even though they do play it safe, and like I said, they don't really, it's not anything groundbreaking, I do respect the fact that they did that, and they didn't have, your typical kind of CGI extravaganza, and instead they replaced that with something that felt a bit more personal and kind of raw, I would say.
Well, like the whole end, the void bit at the end, I think was done really well.
Yes.
And I think touching on it visually, it stands out in the MCU catalogue. Not in like a cinema. It feels very tactile, does this film. And I really do like the visuals in the void sequence at the end. I don't know if they've dubbed it anything yet, but like that end part where they're like going through the centuries past.
Yeah. It felt very like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah. I thought it was really unique, and it made me sit up and think, oh, this is cool.
Hang on, yeah.
This is quite neat. And that, just Sentry, from the last 20 minutes, when he gets the suit and then the void takes over, the void visually is insane. That is such a
It's kind of terrifying.
It's great.
Yeah.
The silhouette and the
two eyes, yeah.
That is brilliant.
It's fantastic.
And like the bit with the girl. Oh. Everyone in the cinema was like, oh.
Yeah.
And I really did enjoy the last like half an hour. I just kind of wish that there was like more of that throughout.
Yeah.
And maybe they got out of that cave instead of like an hour in, got out of there within like the first 20 minutes or so, and then we can see them like actually doing stuff together, growing together. Because with it being the Elena movie, like I said, I like John Walker. I would have wanted more from John Walker, and his arc with his family, that never gets solved. Like I don't know what happens there, and Ghost doesn't really have an arc, and well, Taskmaster dies, but like
R.I.P. Taskmaster.
And Bucky. Bucky has had the same role in every project since Endgame, and like Marvel don't have a clue what to do with that character.
That is true.
I don't think. And I was slightly disappointed in that. But it's hard because the Elena stuff's really good and the Sentry stuff's really good, but just like everything else. But you look at the Avengers 1, and all of those characters have like some sort of arc. Even if it's kind of small, they all have something to do. They're all like pretty prevalent. You can name traits, but I can't name a trait of Ghost.
I agree completely. I do think, yes, Yelena's stuff is done quite well, from the very start. She's depressed, she's lonely, she's trying to find purpose. And even like Red Guardian as well, like even though it's not quite to the extent, there is something there.
Yeah.
And of course, Bob, or the Void Sentry, etc., he has quite a significant presence in terms of his kind of character and whatnot. But Bucky and Ghost and even John Walker to a certain extent, this is supposed to be, like you said, an ensemble team-up movie, and it does feel like some characters are definitely prioritized way more than others. Bucky kind of comes in and he has the coolest fucking intro.
Oh, it's awesome.
Ever. It's like very like T2, like Terminator, and like throwbacks to Winter Soldier, and super, super cool stuff. But then again, like he's just kind of there, and he's there. He's got aura about him. Sure,
he doesn't really have any skin in the game. I don't know why you're like, why are you here? Why are you a congressman as well? What the hell qualifies you? You're like a Russian murderer for a while, a Hydra guy. But I don't know. I don't even really like. I think Bucky should have died in.
Really?
Like, a
long time
ago. I'm talking like Civil War era. Like Bucky served his purpose in Winter Soldier, maybe be the like catalyst for Civil War, but then I think Iron Man should have killed him. And, like just to really ham home the like Steve, Tony. Because he's done nothing.
Yeah, he's kind of just been floating a bit, really. Yeah. And your point about like kind of the film making or how the film looks and feels visually, I was actually really pleasantly. I mean, I'm not overjoyed with it, but I was happy because for me, like this is such a big sort of part of watching films is literally, it sounds obvious, but the visual side of things. And every kind of, so many Marvel films recently have just, kind of settled for this kind of really ugly, grey, washed out kind of look, like green screeny look. And this does feel like a bit of the color and a bit of the saturation is put back into that, even if, it's mainly greys and blacks here. It doesn't quite feel like everything was shot on a soundstage, and it wasn't. The opening scene is Florence Pugh jumping off the second tallest building in the world, which is crazy. But again, my complaint with that is if you're going to have a stunt of that capacity, don't start your film off like that. Like the film starts, build to it in some sort of way. I think Florence Pugh is great, and I think she proves that she does have what it takes to be that kind of movie star, I would say.
I get that.
A lot of people are saying how she's like the anchor of the film, and she is.
And she is, yeah. And it's nice to see her because in a lot of the kind of other big blockbustery stuff that she's done, she has always been a secondary or a tertiary character. Or in Oppenheimer, she was in it for like less than 10 minutes, 5 minutes or so. And it was nice to see her in like a leading role. And I would be. Can we talk about the end?
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
I'm happy to see her leading a new Avengers team, which is something that I'd never thought I'd say. Like post Black Widow, because I hate that film. And I
it's not
like,
good.
Elena, like, who's that? Like, who cares? But no, I would be happy to see her as a pillar of this new MCU.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think she's got. I don't know if I can.
Go on,
she might have more character, and I might care about her more already than I ever really did about Natasha.
Okay, wow.
I could not give a flying rat's ass
really
about Natasha Romanoff.
Wow, that is a take. We haven't even got to the Marvel hot takes yet.
But yeah, no, I'm excited to see where they go with that character, and I just want to see more of the others.
Yeah,
I if I don't care about Natasha, I care like a microscopic amount about Ghost. Like,
yeah.
I don't know why that person's on that team. Like,
right, exactly. Like she was in Ant-Man and the Wasp, and she definitely had a lot more character in there. But still, like that film is so.
Who watched that? Like I think I watched it once on a plane. Like, and I'm like one of the
biggest.
I love this, and even I was like, I cannot be asked to go and see this because it was like just when COVID started or something. It was something like that. Post Endgame, what are you gonna put out? No, post Infinity War.
Yeah, it was Infinity War, and then I think it was like Captain Marvel, and then Ant-Man and the Wasp, then Endgame. Something like that. Yeah.
Why am I gonna go and watch it? Anyway,
the big new character, though, of course, we've touched on in this is the Sentry, who is a very kind of on a power scale. He is just one of the biggest heavy hitters.
What do you say? I'm all the Avengers rolled into one.
Yeah.
There's at least one god on that team.
Exactly. So yeah, but beforehand, I was kind of curious to see how such a sort of a team with such a small power scale would be able to deal with a threat like that. And obviously, he's a very sounds stupid to say, but it's a very character-driven character, and then it gets sort of into the psyche of Bob, as you say, and Lewis Pullman, I think, does a pretty good job in portraying this character. He has quite an innocent face.
Yeah,
he has quite a nice,
like a sweet guy.
Yeah. So like, there's a lot of you that just wants to see him okay.
Yeah,
does that make sense?
You want to, like, give him a hug.
Exactly. What did you think of Sentry versus the Thunderbolts? What did you think of that scene?
I thought it was done quite well. I mean, like, Bob obviously, he's being manipulated by Valentina, but you can tell he's holding back because, there's part of him that still cares about these people.
Yeah.
I thought it was done well, but kind of knew that like he wasn't going to kill any of them.
Of course.
And I was really happy with how they wrapped it up, kind of in the Void Mind Palace thing.
Yeah.
But no, I thought it was a really cool fight scene. I'd like to see them take on the Thunderbolts, take on like a street level villain. I think that would be like really, really cool.
100%. Another like sort of kind of mixed feeling that I have of this film is these are almost like very street level kind of heroes, and I don't quite think like the action sequences or the fight scenes in this were up to the kind of standard I was hoping for.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just feel like the first fight was cool because it showcased all of their different powers.
See, that's what I really like that one.
That one's cool, and then the Sentry one's pretty cool as well because it's the first time you really see the Sentry kind of do anything or like, be that. But like aside from that, like we've had fights like Bucky and Captain America into the Winter Soldier. Like we've had huge like really well done hand to hand combat in the MCU before, and I just was hoping for some more of that, and I just left feeling a little bit underwhelmed in that department. I would say
you're not walking away from this like thinking, "Oh wow, there was some great fight."
Right.
I'm gonna go home and watch that fight on YouTube.
Exactly.
Whereas like every now and again, I'll see the Cap Bucky fight come up. I'll see the like the Daredevil's hallway.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing quite on that level.
Yes.
Which is shocking considering like it is such a street level.
Yeah.
Fisticuffs. Like.
Exactly. Very quickly going back to the Sentry, I do kind of like you said, I do like how they kind of concluded that character, and with the whole like again tackling the topic of kind of mental health and this kind of forever battle that we find within ourselves. I do like the fact that they didn't just like almost you can't really kill the Void. So mental health is always something that's going to be there. It's just about how you tackle it.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah. It's just it's always, it's not like they beat something. Do you know what I mean? Like it's accepting that some things are always going to be there within you.
Yeah.
And it's just about how you
deal with
it.
Smack it down every now and again.
Exactly. And that's kind of what I feel like the film's kind of last thematic kind of beat was. I want to say we finally now know what the asterisks and Thunderbolts kind of means.
Yeah.
New Avengers or Avengers or whatever they're going to call the team. End credit scene though.
I thought it was really good. I think that was. I don't know. It's not one of my favorite end credit scenes because like the best end credit scenes for me are like the ones that last like 15 seconds.
Yeah.
And it's like
it's just a
fine,
shot. Yeah,
I'll do it myself there. like stuff like that, or when Thanos like turns around or something like that. But that was like a full-on scene.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really cool. I liked the fact that they touched on the Sam Wilson like is having issues with it and is trying to trademark the thing. So whether it's going to be like West Coast Avengers and East Coast or Dark Avengers, whatever. Really, really, really cool. I like the new logo. I really like the fact that they gave John Walker the US agents.
Yes.
Bucky looks cool.
They all look fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I didn't even mean to say that. I swear to God, I didn't even mean to say that. I didn't even mean
There he is. Yeah. Yeah, but that gets spoiled in the credits. Me and Josiah were watching the credits. We were like, hang on when was that in it? And then the ship.
Yeah, and you hear Michael Giacchino's
Fantastic.
Yeah.
No. Very, very exciting. I mean, it's kind of a spoiler for Fantastic
Four. It is a little bit, yeah.
I mean, I think we're all expecting Galactus to destroy their Earth and for them to come to 6176.
Yeah.
So I think
thanks, Thunderbolts.
I think that's just I think that's just what's gonna happen.
Or maybe there's just something maybe that's just too obvious and there's something else at play, but who knows?
Or they're like hopping through dimension.
Who knows? Yeah. I guess we'll have to wait till I think July 25th when I'm away on holiday.
No.
To see it.
Devastating.
Yeah. But overall, I feel like I'm slightly a little more positive on this film than you are.
I think I need a rewatch.
Sure. With some coffee.
Yeah. I think I need a rewatch and to just kind of I don't know. The ending was really good. I really, really liked the second half.
Yeah.
But the character issues, the pacing, I was just expecting a little bit more. But I think if I go in with the mindset of this is a Yelena movie and the Void and a Sentry movie, then yeah, I think I would enjoy that a lot more. However, I did go in with because I went in with the ensemble in mind.
Sure.
So yeah, no, I will see on a rewatch. I think I gave it a 6 out of 10.
There you go, guys. That is kind of our review on Thunderbolts. Thunderbolts Asterix. Do let us know what you thought about the film down below in the comment section if you loved it, if you didn't love it so much. Now, Mr. Calvert, we are going to play some games.
Hit me, Mr.
So, the first game, bit of a warm-up game as we usually do.
Okay.
It's a this or that.
Yep.
MCU film edition.
Nice. Okay, let's
So
do
we're
it.
just going to go straight through basically all of the films, and we're going to see.
Thank God it's the films and not the TV because I don't.
I haven't seen
a lot of them.
So we're going to figure out what MCU film just might be your favorite.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Yeah. So Iron Man or the Incredible Hulk.
Iron Man.
Iron Man or Iron Man 2.
Iron Man.
Iron Man or Thor.
Iron Man.
Iron Man or Captain America the First Avenger.
Iron Man.
Iron Man or The Avengers.
The Avengers.
The Avengers or Iron Man 3.
The Avengers.
The Avengers or Thor the Dark World.
Oh, stupid question. The Avengers.
The Avengers or Captain America the Winter Soldier.
Oh God, the Avengers.
The Avengers or Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Wow. Guardians of the Galaxy or Avengers Age of Ultron.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy or Ant-Man.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy or Captain America Civil War.
I don't like that movie. Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy or Doctor Strange.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy or Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
Guardians of the Galaxy 1.
Guardians of the Galaxy or Spider-Man Homecoming.
I really like Homecoming, but Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy or Thor Ragnarok.
Oh, you bastard. Oh, no. Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy or Black Panther.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Guardians of the Galaxy or Avengers Infinity War.
Infinity War.
Avengers Infinity War or Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Infinity War.
Infinity War or Captain Marvel.
Infinity War.
Infinity War or Endgame.
I don't know. I hate that question. I never know if it's like which is the best or which is your favourite.
It's Henry's pick.
The best cinematic experience of my life was Avengers Endgame.
So we're going with Endgame?
And I think I'm going to say Endgame.
Okay. Avengers Endgame or Spider-Man Far From Home.
Endgame.
Avengers Endgame or Black Widow.
Endgame.
Avengers Endgame or Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
I forgot that existed. I forgot that, but they haven't mentioned that once. Endgame.
Avengers Endgame or Eternals.
Endgame.
Avengers Endgame or Spider-Man No Way Home.
Endgame.
Avengers Endgame or Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Endgame.
Avengers Endgame or Thor Love and Thunder.
Endgame.
Avengers Endgame or Black Panther Wakanda Forever.
Endgame.
Avengers Endgame or Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania.
Let me think. Endgame.
Avengers Endgame or Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Balls. Guardians 3.
Wow. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 or The Marvels.
Guardians 3.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 or Deadpool and Wolverine.
Guardians 3.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 or Captain America Brave New World.
Guardians 3.
And finally, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 versus Thunderbolts.
Guardians 3.
So there we go. Guardians 3 wins.
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
I think so.
Did you know that about yourself? Did you know that Guardians 3 might be your favorite?
Oh, I don't know. I watched it recently with some lads on a stag do, and it was like it just reminded me how much I like absolute weird thing to watch on a stag do. But
I was gonna say,
yeah, it was
pre-drinks.
It's on like Portugal like TV, and the but no, it's really good, and I Endgame's always the best cinematic experience, but Guardians 3, the first time I watched that, made me feel things I didn't even know I could feel about a character that doesn't even exist. Like it was good.
Yeah, it was very, very good.
But if we're talking like non-event movies, you know, like not No Way Home, I don't know. The best like standalone one for me would probably be Guardians 1 or maybe Thor Ragnarok. I think.
Okay.
If we're not talking big, like
big team up movies. Okay, so Henry, game number 2. Can you guess the comic book character from their birth name? So I'm going to throw you some names of characters.
Okay.
And you're going to tell me which superhero or supervillain. This is both Marvel and DC.
Okay, I can do this.
So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 characters.
Okay,
So,
okay.
I think they're going to get progressively harder, so we'll see.
I used to read so many comic books, so let's see how...
You should be all over this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so first up we have Pietro Maximoff.
That is Quicksilver.
Hal Jordan.
That is Green Lantern.
Selena Kyle.
That is Catwoman.
Carol Danvers.
That is Carol Danvers. Carol Danvers is Captain Marvel.
Oliver Queen.
That's Green Arrow. He's got to save the soul of the city and save Thea. So,
Did you watch that show?
mate, I forced myself to watch about 6 seasons of Arrow, and it's the same thing over and over.
I think I
again.
stopped after season 5. I think on the island. I think I stopped after.
What a load of Deathstroke was cool, but the amount
He
of
was.
times he had to save Thea and like I'm gonna shoot someone with my bow.
You have failed the city.
Yeah.
Victor Stone.
Victor Stone.
Oh, I got you.
Victor Stone. Oh God, I don't know. Tombstone.
It's not quite Tombstone.
Victor Stone. Is it Marvel or DC?
It's DC.
I pass.
That is Cyborg.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah? Nice. Up next we have Mark Spector.
Oh, Moon Knight.
That is correct. Aurora Monroe.
Aurora Monroe is Storm.
That is correct. Robert Reynolds.
That's a DC name, is it? Or is it Marvel?
It's Marvel.
Oh, I don't know then. Robert Reynolds in Marvel.
So that,
Robert Reynolds in Marvel.
so that is the Sentry.
Oh, yeah. Just watch the bloody movie.
Hiding in plain sight. And finally, Henry, we have James Howlett.
Oh, Logan. It's Wolverine.
That is correct. Yeah, you did pretty good on that.
That's
I think it was just the
okay.
1 or 2.
It was 2. I only
Was it 2? Yeah. There we go.
Gosh darn it. Yeah.
There we go. It was a pretty good score.
It's a good game.
All right. Let's switch it up a little bit, guys. Let's do some MCU hot takes. So, we have, in this bowl in front of us, we have, I think about, I want to say around 8 to 10 hot takes.
Okay.
So we'll take turns, pick a hot take out, and then we're going to have to say whether we agree or disagree. So there are some agree, disagree cards. Flynn, I don't know. Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. Fabulous. Thank you, sir. Since you are the guest, would you like to pick out the first MCU hot take?
Hello, you. Right. First hot take is Tobey Maguire is overrated as Spider-Man. You're blinded by nostalgia.
We're gonna have a fight. We're gonna have a fight.
I agree with like most of that statement. Toby's not my Spider-Man. I didn't grow up with.
Who is your Spider-Man?
I'd probably say because
Andrew,
Tom.
But
I grew up with Andrew, but I even as a kid I didn't like those movies.
Yeah.
They were like some of the first movies which I watched, and I was like, these are just crap. But then it's only in like the past, I don't know, 5-6 years when I revisited the original Raimi trilogy. And
you're not a fan? Wow. Okay. So let me say my truth. Right. So I mean, Toby was for me like, I mean, those films were such a huge part of my childhood. Yes, we are doubling down on the whole nostalgia theory here. So yes, of course there is a whole lot of nostalgia.
There's an element of that.
Of course, as there is for a lot of people who grew up on those films. For me, I think whenever you look at sort of superhero adaptations, you've got to look at the world in which those films have created. So, for example, people often debate who's the best Batman. Is it Robert Pattinson? Is it Ben Affleck, etc.? I think Tobey Maguire is a great Spider-Man for the universe that Sam Raimi created. It's this kind of campy, but also serious, emulates so much of the comic book style. And in those films, Tobey Maguire works. He works. If you want to compare him to Tom Holland or Andrew Garfield in terms of comic accuracy and how Spider-Man's supposed to be in the comics, and whether you're judging him off that, then sure, of course, Andrew's probably going to be the most quippy. He's going to be the most true to who Spider-Man is in the comics, and Tom, you could say, as most people have the best of both. I would say, but Tobey, for me, you take him out of context of those films. Yeah, you could say that he's not so
weird.
great. Exactly.
I just he's never one that I've like when I read a Spider-Man comic, I always think, who am I reading this character as? Like where am I putting him? And it's never like Tobey Maguire's voice that I hear when I'm reading a comic book. It's never like him that I'm imagining in these scenarios, if you get what I mean. He doesn't feel like... everybody puts those movies on somewhat of a pedestal, and rightly so in some regards. Like, I do think that everything is kind of owed to those films. The X-Men movies, like, everything is owed to them. But I don't know. I could beat up Tobey Maguire. Like, I'm not being... you look at Tobey Maguire and I'm like, I'm a skinny guy and I could probably beat up Tobey Maguire. And his Spider-Man is just like, I don't know, it just doesn't do anything for me. But that train sequence is pretty cool.
The train sequence is amazing. I still think...
Like, that's Spider-Man. Like Spider-Man 2 Spider-Man, that's Spider-Man. But in, like, the first film and, like, the third film, I just don't know.
I mean, the first film, he's kind of... I mean, he's sort of finding his feet. And then the third film, he's Bully Maguire.
Yeah.
But I think fundamentally, I think, Sam Raimi and Tobey Maguire, mostly Sam Raimi I would attribute this to, but I think Spider-Man 2 nails that duality of Spider-Man. I've said it so many times before, but, like, I still think Spider-Man 2 is the best Spider-Man film. I know that's, like, considering the Spider-Verse films have come out, etc. Could be a hot take, but I think in the context of those films, it's like if you compared Christian Bale's Batman to Robert Pattinson's Batman or Ben Affleck's Batman. Of course, Ben Affleck's Batman might be more comic book accurate Batman, the Batman we know from the comics, but Bale's Batman works in the Nolan universe. Like, he works in that context. If you take him out of that, it's just not going to be the same. But hey. There we go.
What's life without a bit of disagreement?
There we go.
Exactly. Right, your turn.
I will get out the next hot take. Okay. Okay. The Eternals was a good movie. It gets too much hate. I'm in the middle.
I'm just... it's a poor movie. I think to be honest, I have only seen it once, and that was in cinemas when it came out. And it bored me rigid. It was the dullest thing I have had to sit through. And I think it would have been a brilliant TV series.
That's a good take. I
think it would have worked so well.
Yeah.
Because it's got that episodic like of the different time period. I mean, it would have been an expensive-ass TV show. But like, it's got that feeling of episodic. But I don't want to be sat there for... It was like 3 hours and 20 or something. It was such a long film.
Yeah.
And I'm not adverse to a long film, but a film that's, like, well-paced and got compelling characters, but, like, there's, 8 of them or 7 of them or something? Yeah. I think I can name, like, 2.
Yeah.
Like, it's not memorable. Well, Marvel knows it's not memorable because they've never come up again.
Yeah, there you go, yeah.
Mention is the Brave New World.
Yes, the Celestial
thing. And if that's all that we've taken from that, like, multi-million-dollar blowout, then, like... Come on.
Yeah, I actually quite like the film. This is not to me to say that I don't like the film. I actually quite like the film, but I think if you watch the film as almost this film about, like, kind of Greek gods, if you want to say, as opposed to superhero films or fitting into the Marvel kind of universe, I would say it works much better with that kind of mentality going into it.
Yeah.
But I do think the film has a lot of problems. I think, like you said, like it's paced poorly. I think visually, we had Chloe Zhao, who just came off the back of winning, like, Best Director at the Oscars and stuff, and I was so excited to see, like,
what was that for?
That was for Nomadland, which is by no means anyone's favorite Best Picture winner ever. But I was excited to see a more kind of indie approach to it, and I just think in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't. I'm not begging to come back to those characters.
I don't think that's the project to try out this new indie kind of like. I think if they wanted to get, like, a new director with a new visual style and kind of a new unique approach, like, probably try something that doesn't span 10,000.
Yeah.
Like, maybe go a bit more character. In internal.
Smaller scale.
Internal instead of eternal.
Oh, that's the second one of the day.
There we go.
Please go ahead. Yeah.
Deadpool and Wolverine is the worst Deadpool movie. Really? The worst? I think it's
the worst Deadpool. Deadpool and Wolverine, yeah.
Wow, okay.
I think Deadpool 1 and 2. I mean, if you're not counting Origins Wolverine, let's not count that, but I think Deadpool 1 and 2 are better than Deadpool and Wolverine. I think Deadpool and Wolverine was a great first watch. But
it doesn't hold up that well. But, like, I think Deadpool 1 holds up well. Like, the stick, when you do a watch through, the stick hasn't gotten old then. The whole, I've got a, can you swear on this?
Yeah, go for it.
Like, I've got a penis in my mouth, and like, oh my God, like, I'm gonna fuck Wolverine. Like, all of this shit. Like, the kind of like, all of that jokes, like, hasn't gotten quite so old at that point. And I think 1 has a lot of heart. I like Wade's arc. Like, I get it. 2 doesn't really do anything for me.
Okay.
Like, I think it's perfectly fine. It would go 1, 3, 2 for me. I'm not one to put Deadpool and Wolverine on a pedestal because of like, oh my God, Blade. But like, 1 is definitely the best, I'd say.
Oh yeah, that clears. Yeah.
I'd say that's like easily a 7, 8 out of 10.
For me, I just think Deadpool and Wolverine doesn't really have a plot. I just think that when I saw it for a second time because a friend of mine hadn't seen it and he was like, oh Dylan, please can we I was like, fine, okay, cool. Watched it and there was such a drop in quality from my first experience to the second experience. So for me, like if you don't hold up as a film, and even Deadpool 2 I don't really love as much as the first, but I think it still has, there is still an arc there is still somewhat of a story there and characters who have got their own sort of things going on, whereas Deadpool and Wolverine is a fan service film for the sake of it, which is why it's so much fun on the first watch, but then over time the sugar rush kind of just
No Way Home did the same thing for me.
Well, No Way Home does it a little bit.
It's not as bad as Deadpool and Wolverine because No Way Home does actually have quite a lot of heart.
Absolutely, 100% agree with that.
And like Deadpool and Wolverine does have some heart, but I'm not really forgiving it for bringing Hugh back. I kind of wish they didn't do that. But anyway.
There you go.
Right.
The hallway fight in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 is the best fight in the MCU.
Oh.
It's close. It's close.
I'm leaving.
Okay.
Nothing's springing to mind that beats it. The only thing that comes close is like portals, but that doesn't really count, I don't think. I think
that's more of like a huge kind of...
Yeah, it's not the fight that about what do you think?
So for me, I think my favorite fight in the entire MCU is the highway fight in The Winter Soldier. I think
really?
Absolutely. I think it is so, it's like the closest thing I like. If you want to talk about real action, like you can feel every punch and kick, and it's like the two of them, Winter Soldier and Captain America, going at it before Cap knows it's Bucky, and it's like, I implore you to go watch that fight again and just see how
there's a great knife drop.
It's so creative. The stunts work really well. I think a lot of the fights in Shang-Chi are fantastic, of course, like the fact that
the bus and
the bus fight is incredible. I think Guardians 3, also Daredevil, if you're counting that as well. I think a lot of the fights in Daredevil, like the hallway fight in Daredevil, was fucking amazing. But I do think Guardians, this is definitely up there for sure.
Yeah, I think
in terms of like pure creativity,
it's brilliant. And the music great as well. And I love seeing each of them use their like powers or just their strengths in unique ways. Like when Nebula's like breaking apart. It's so cool.
Brilliant. It's great. After you, sir.
Black Widow had a pointless and forced relationship with Bruce. Is that a hot take? Is that a hot? I mean, what?
Amy would say otherwise. Amy would say otherwise. No, sorry. Amy prefers Natasha and Steve over Natasha and Bruce. I think that was what I clarified. But yes.
What? Where does that even? It's like brought up in what?
Age of Ultron.
And then.
Just never.
Pretty much never mentioned again.
Yeah, I think that does, looking back, it does seem very pointless because it was just confined to that one film and they didn't really do much after that. They kind of just sort of just continuously switch things up with Natasha, but also I do kind of see what they were kind of going for. Like these are the two Avengers who are the most kind of sort of lonely and disillusioned, I would say, in that film, and they try and kind of find each other. Bit like Thunderbolts, a little bit like Thunderbolts. But yeah, I mean,
there's other ways to do that.
Yeah,
like if it was just like a friendship or like they just had a connection. Yeah, that's fine. But like now you're wondering, like it's never really brought. I think there might be a few passing remarks in like Infinity War and Endgame.
Maybe, yeah.
But if you watch those films thinking that they were really good friends, it's like the same thing.
But also looking back on it, like there's a moment where like the Ultron bots are flying through Stark Tower and attacking, and then like Bruce falls on top of Natasha. I don't remember that, and it kind of sticks out a bit. I don't know. It's just a bit weird.
It's a bit weird.
Yeah,
and I don't think there's any need for Natasha to have a romantic interest
exactly
at all.
Exactly. Good point.
I don't know what it gives her character. So yeah, I think we're in agreement for that one. Absolutely.
Is that the first one we've agreed on?
I think so. Could be.
Okay. Thor and Jane had the best love story in the MCU.
Oh.
I want to disagree, but I'm really trying to think of... Oh, no.
Gamora and Star-Lord.
Yeah, Gamora and Star-Lord, yeah.
That is the, like... I love the trope of, like, people that get together and, like, in the past... and then kind of realize that the best thing for them to do, if they want to achieve their own things and achieve their goals, the only way for them to do that is apart. Like, it's heartbreaking. It's like the La La Land thing. It's the past lives thing. These are two of my favorite movies, and they did a similar type trope in Guardians 3, and I absolutely loved that. What I will say is that I wish we got James Gunn's full vision for the Gamora character, because I think it's quite obvious that her dying in Infinity War, yeah. Her dying, like 616 Gamora dying in Infinity War, like it clearly wasn't his plan. So then, I don't know, it just would have been cool to see how he handled the end of that relationship. But definitely. I think that's the best one.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm really trying to think of others.
Tony and Pepper.
Yeah, Tony and Pepper. Especially in that first film when they're not quite together, but there is something.
Yeah, I mean that's really cute.
Yeah.
It's not as compelling.
No.
Paul Rudd and Evangeline.
Yeah.
And,
it's quite sweet.
Gosh, God,
it's romance in the MCU. I just think like Love and Thunder just leaves a sour taste, and like Thor and Jane it's.
Also, I'm not watching the Thor movies.
The love story.
Love story. I'm watching it because like. Myths and and even then, like, both of those the first two movies are pretty boring.
I think Gamora and Star-Lord seem to be a clear winner here.
Yeah, I agree.
Do let us know if we've forgotten anyone. Yeah,
there might be something glaringly obvious. I don't think they're Cap and Peggy.
Yeah
but that's in one film.
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
I will say the I Had a Date, that's a great post-credit scene in the Captain America the First Avenger. Pretty forgettable movie. Brilliant post-credit scene.
Yes.
When he's like in the shield.
Yes.
Running through Times Square, and then Nick Fury's.
I had a date. Yeah.
You gonna be okay, Cap? I had a date.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, that's a great line.
Even in Endgame, when he goes back in time and he sees Peggy.
Yeah.
Just like that. It's so sad. Like he can't go there. It's just it's.
No, I think that's probably.
And then he does go there. Yeah. But yeah. There you go. I think it's you. I think it's the last. This is the last one. The last hot take.
Are we gonna argue? Ultron needs to come back. He wasn't terrifying enough.
Okay. Needs to come back.
Needs to come back.
Needs to come back. I don't know.
I don't know about.
I don't know.
That.
Needs to come back.
I don't know about needs to come back. There's certain arcs in the MCU which I think would have benefited from, like, the current, like the Endgame collective, like Civil War. If they did Civil War again. Like, if they did Civil War with the lineup that they had on Endgame, like, that would have been phenomenal. And we're always talking about where they could possibly go post Doomsday, post, originally Kang Dynasty. And I thought Civil War would have been a brilliant place to, like, end up. In regards to bringing Ultron back, I think it would have been cool to do it with, like, Hank Pym. Like, I think that would have been.
Yeah, that 100%. I think the thing is, the need for Ultron stems from Hank Pym and Tony.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't have those characters to have the groundwork there, I don't know. But they have already kind of established him, and I think that's the kind of general problem I have with big, like you said, big MCU villains, and they get confined to one film and they're just the one and done.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you've seen What If. I've watched the first season of What If.
And That's cool.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
They make him such a better presence in that.
Yeah.
He's quite terrifying.
I really like What If.
Yeah.
I'm not up to date.
Same.
But as like these little individual vignette things.
Yeah.
Some of them are a bit forgettable, but like I think they're really good.
Yeah.
And I tell you what is one of the best things that Marvel TV have done is that one episode of Doctor Strange. It's in the first season. You know when
The zombies? No, not the zombies.
the one where he's like
There's
trying to save.
yes.
I think
Brilliant.
that episode is phenomenal.
It's so.
It's like it's like destroying his own universe to try and save her life with the time stone, and he can't do it or whatever. Honestly, I thought that was phenomenal when I watched it.
Yeah, I mean, I think What If is quite sort of underrated in some regards. I think a lot of people have seen it, but I think it's such a cool and fun opportunity to just tell these one-off stories that they ask the question, what if? Again, pun.
Yeah. What if?
That sort of satisfy comic book fans,
Yeah.
but also...
Well, it gives new lives to characters,
exactly.
and everything. And I think if people are after more from the characters that they, maybe didn't get their right treatment when they were in the MCU, can go and hopefully find something in What If. Like even that Hank Pym episode, I thought was quite cool, where he's like trying to kill the Avengers or something. I think that was quite neat.
Yeah.
So yeah, no. Takeaway from that question is What If's pretty good.
It is pretty good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's all the MCU hot takes that we have for this round. We've got 2 more rounds of games. The next round we have is, Henry, can you name the top 10 highest grossing MCU films excluding the Avengers films and No Way Home? So so the 4 Avengers films and Spider-Man No Way Home make up the top 5 highest grossing MCU films.
Okay.
I want to know if you can tell me
the other 10
from 6 to 15.
Okay. How many MCU films are there? 23?
I think 35. 36. 36.
Now.
36.
What the hell?
36 films, yeah.
Right. Iron Man 3.
So Iron Man 3 is number 2 on this list.
Okay. I'd say Guardians 3.
Guardians 3 is not on this list.
Guardians 3 isn't on that list?
Guardians 3 is not on this list.
Wow, you shocked me. That really? Yeah. Wow. Okay. Civil War.
Civil War is on here. Civil War is at number 3. It made 1.1 billion.
Wow.
So Iron Man 3 made 1.2 billion. Yeah.
Okay. I'll say Thor Ragnarok.
Thor Ragnarok is here at number 10. It made $855 million.
Okay. Oh, God. Guardians 2?
Guardians 2 is on here. So
okay.
Guardians 2 made $863 million. It sits at number 8.
Okay. I'll say Spider-Man Homecoming.
Spider-Man Homecoming is also correct. It's on number 7, made $880 million.
Okay. Guardians 1?
Guardians 1 is not on here.
No, I didn't think it would be. I don't want to say it then. Gosh, blimey. I'm going through them all. Iron Man 2, Incredible Hulk, Thor Dark World won't be on there. Guardians 2, we've said. Far From Home?
Far From Home is on here. Far From Home is number 4. It made 1.1 billion.
Okay.
So I think you've got half of them now.
Yeah. Oh, God, this is getting difficult. Ant-Man's got films, Guardians has films. Ant-Man no. Multiverse of Madness?
Multiverse of Madness is in here. It's on number 6. It made $955 million.
Okay. So 4 left. Crikey.
3 left.
Shang-Chi won't be on there. Iron Man... Is Iron Man 2?
Iron Man 2 is not on here, no.
No, I'm trying to think like early MCU. Winter Soldier.
Nope. Winter Soldier is not on here.
Oh, gosh. Oh, God. What else could it possibly... Because the Ant-Man movies won't have made that much money.
So currently you're missing number 1, number 5, and number 9.
Number 1 I'm missing. Oh, gosh. Excluding the Avengers movies and excluding No Way... Oh, Deadpool and Wolverine.
Nope.
That's not on there.
For some reason, it's not on here.
Okay.
Don't know why. It might actually be on the front.
Yeah. I don't know. Missing number 1 outside of the Avengers movies.
It might actually be outside of the Avengers movies, No Way Home and Deadpool and Wolverine, I want to say.
Okay.
Sorry.
Deadpool and Wolverine.
Do you want me to give it to you?
Yeah.
So, number 1 is Black Panther. So that made 1.3 to 1.4 billion.
Forever will be on there.
Wakanda Forever is number 9 at 858 million. And the last one you are missing is number 5. Captain Marvel made $1.1 billion at the box office.
Captain Marvel.
That is
made
correct.
1.1 billion.
That is correct. It grossed over 1.1 billion.
That's got to be a joke.
There you go.
Oh, that's so annoying. I miss the Black Panther movies. Oh, for God's sake. No.
There you go. That was a good effort.
That was a good effort.
Solid.
Oh, damn.
Solid.
Yeah. Those early MCU movies were rated in, didn't they?
Yeah, I think it's just because they didn't have the fan base that they do have now.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go.
I'd never have guessed Captain Marvel. I'd never have got that.
I think it was maybe riding off the Infinity War hype because I think it came straight after potentially.
I just felt I was like, I don't want to watch anything. I don't want to. I just want Infinity War then Endgame. That's all I want. Yeah.
So finally, Henry, we have another sort of this or that round.
Okay.
I know you're a big Star Wars fan.
Oh, yes,
I know you are a big Star Wars fan, so of course we couldn't let you leave.
It's May 3rd today. What are we doing? We should have done it tomorrow.
So, Henry, as a huge Star Wars fan, I want to know who is the best Star Wars character. Not the most powerful, not the most gifted with the Force, not the most prominent. Who is, in your opinion, the best Star Wars character? So, first up, we have Darth Sidious or Kylo Ren?
Kylo Ren.
Kylo Ren or Darth Maul?
Darth Maul.
Darth Maul or Count Dooku?
Darth Maul. It's going to take a lot for me to change Darth Maul.
Darth Maul or Asajj Ventress?
She's good. She's a really good character.
Yes.
Darth Maul.
Darth Maul or General Grievous?
Darth Maul.
Darth Maul or Admiral Thrawn?
Reading it.
There you go.
I was reading it on the train.
Maybe after you finish that,
maybe my answer will change.
Yeah.
When I finish these 6 books. But currently, Maul.
Darth Maul or Cad Bane?
Maul.
Darth Maul or Jango Fett?
Maul.
Darth Maul or Boba Fett?
Maul.
Darth Maul or Captain Rex?
Oh, you bastard. Maul.
Darth Maul or The Mandalorian?
Maul.
Darth Maul or Cassian Andor?
Darth Maul.
Darth Maul or BB-8?
Darth Maul.
Darth Maul or C-3PO?
I love C-3PO, but Darth Maul.
Darth Maul or R2-D2?
Darth Maul.
Darth Maul or Grogu?
Grogu's not a character yet. I mean, he is a character, but Darth Maul.
Darth Maul or Jyn Erso?
Darth Maul.
Darth Maul or Rey?
Darth Maul.
Darth Maul or Padme?
Darth Maul.
Darth Maul or Princess Leia?
I'm sorry, Carrie. I'm so sorry, but it's Darth Maul.
Darth Maul or Lando Calrissian?
Darth Maul.
Darth Maul or Poe Dameron?
Darth Maul.
Darth Maul or Finn?
Finn could have been so good.
He could have.
Thinking about Finn's depressing, because he could have been amazing, but Darth Maul.
Sorry to bring up a touchy subject.
Yeah.
Darth Maul or Chewbacca?
Darth Maul.
Darth Maul or Han Solo?
Darth Maul.
Darth Maul or Ahsoka Tano?
Oh, I knew that was coming. I bloody knew it. She's my favourite. She is my favourite character. So, Ahsoka.
Ahsoka Tano or Qui-Gon Jinn?
Ahsoka Tano.
Ahsoka Tano or Mace Windu?
Ahsoka Tano.
Ahsoka Tano or Yoda?
Ahsoka Tano.
Ahsoka Tano or Obi-Wan Kenobi?
I don't know. Because he's like a really good character, but my personal favourite's Ahsoka Tano.
And finally, Ahsoka Tano or Anakin Skywalker?
Shock.
/ Darth Vader.
My favourite, I'm under no illusion that Anakin Skywalker's arc and Darth Vader and everything is the best. But screw you, it's Ahsoka Tano.
And there we have it, guys. Ahsoka Tano wins that round. Who's the best Star Wars
then Darth
character?
Maul, then Anakin Skywalker, I think. Yeah.
There we go. So that is game number 5, and that concludes this episode. Thank you so much, Henry.
Oh, mate,
coming
thank
on.
you for having me.
That was a lot of fun. I hope you had fun. That was
absolutely
such a blast to do. All of Henry's socials will be linked in the description box below. Not that he particularly needs it. I don't know if you've seen.
Go watch me dance to Phil Collins.
Yes.
And rap about being a nerd.
Yes. If you need a good laugh, please do go check out his content. It's doing some fantastic things. And also go and check out his podcast, The Scene Stealers. That's very, very cool that you guys are...
Yeah, a little bit of theatre on there.
Yeah. Your Scene Stealers co-host, he's in a play, isn't he?
Yes, so Toby Tobias Turley won ITV's Mamma Mia, I Have a Dream, which then won him the role in a Sky and Mamma Mia.
Yeah.
And then he's been in Heathers, he's been in loads of stuff.
That's amazing.
And he's currently going to, I think he's training for a show at the Fringe.
Oh, wonderful. So, amazing. Yeah. I bring that up because I think I have a friend who's in the same
very cool. What, the one that he's going into?
No, the one he's just done.
White Rose?
Yes.
White Rose the musical.
Yes.
Who's your friend?
His name's Owen.
Oh, Owen. Yes.
Yeah. Funny enough, I met him at Everyman as well. So
God, Everyman, just go to the Everyman, make some friends. There we go. That's a takeaway.
Yeah. But yeah, guys, that concludes this episode. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for listening. Do let us know what you thought of Thunderbolts. But for now, thank you, cheers, and we will catch you very soon in the next episode of the Popcorn Podcast. Cheers.
Bye.